Hello and welcome to Defense Dynamics. I am Danveer Singh, your host from New Delhi. In this episode, we will talk in detail about the beyond visual range Astra Mk2 missile, India's next generation air dominance weapon. What is it? Why is it a necessity? We'll also explain the strategic implications of force multipliers in the sky, India's mid-air refueling aircrafts, and in our third segment, we will tell you about India's new close quarter battle carbine, a deadly compact power of close combat. And finally, in my take, I will explain why the Indian Army Chief recently said we are preparing for the unknown. Is it the evolved Indian Army's new mindset? But before we dive deep, these are the major defense headlines. India and the United States have signed a decade-long defense framework to boost coordination, information sharing, and technology cooperation. The agreement exchanged in Kuala Lumpur between India's Defence Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh and US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth charts a long-term course for the major defence partnership. The Indian Space Research Organisation has successfully launched the Navy's Advanced Communication Satellite GSAT-7R from Sriharikota. The 4,400 kg indigenously built satellite is India's heaviest to date, marking a major boost to the Navy's maritime communications and space capabilities. Larsen & Toubro and General Atomics have joined hands to manufacture advanced medium-altitude long-endurance drones in India. The partnership will produce combat-proven MQ series UAVs, strengthening India's defense manufacturing ecosystem and deepening Indo-US defense ties. The Taiwanese Army has officially inducted the first batch of American-made M1A2T Abrams main battle tanks. 80 of the 108 tanks ordered from the United States are now operational, with the remaining set to arrive by the year 2026. Australia's defense technology firm Anduril has inaugurated a new facility in Sydney to build its Ghost Shark underwater drones. The $1.7 billion project will supply the Royal Australian Navy with next-generation autonomous systems for surveillance and strike missions. India's air-to-air combat capabilities are set to take a major leap forward. The Astra Mk2, an indigenous beyond visual range missile, is nearing completion and is expected to be inducted into the Indian Air Force by 2026. Indian Air Force plans to purchase around 700 of these air-to-air missiles alongside a significant number of Meteor air-to-air missiles from France. With a range of over 200 kilometers, dual pulse propulsion and indigenous seeker, it's a system that could tilt the air combat balance decisively in India's favor. But why does a beyond visual range missile, or the BVR as known, matter so much in the modern aerial warfare? Let's try and understand this. In modern air combat, seeing the enemy first and shooting first often means winning the fight. That's the logic behind a BVR missile. These weapons can detect, track and destroy enemy aircraft long before they appear on radar or to the naked eye. A pilot equipped with long-range missiles like the Astra Mk2 can engage a target without entering its missile envelope, staying completely out of danger. In short, beyond the visual range capability gives an air force the power to dominate the skies before the first dogfight even begins. A BVR missile turns the air battle into a game of sensors and speed, not just maneuvers.
who has a longer reach, has an upper hand.
That's why the Astra Mk2's 200-kilometer range is so significant. It extends India's aerial strike envelope far beyond what its adversaries currently feel, and it's made in India.
The Astra Mk2's dual pulse rocket motor gives it two stages of thrust, one at launch and another during the terminal phase, keeping it fast, agile and efficient all the way to the target. Added to that is an indigenous RF seeker developed by Indian scientists. With this, Astra Mk2 becomes not just a missile but a milestone in India's quest for self-reliance.
The indigenous seeker allows Astra Mk2 to lock on to targets in high jamming environments, a capability few nations possess. But to truly understand its strategic value, let's compare it with India's neighbor, what they have. India's adversaries, Pakistan and China, have a modern array of air-to-air combat missiles. So what are they? Let's try and understand with the help of the video wall. To begin with, what is Pakistan having in its quiver? Pakistan is having PL-15 made in China air-to-air missile, which has got a range of around 200 to 250 kilometers, and the platforms that use this missile are JF-17 and J-10C. Both are the Chinese fighter aircrafts. And likewise, the second missile that they have is the American AIM-120C5. This is the missile that is used in F-16, also supplied by the Americans, and it has got a shorter range of 105 kilometers. So these are two types of missiles that the Pakistanis have. Now what do the Chinese have? Now let's check out what are the missiles available with the Chinese Air Force. They have got PL-12 missile. It has got a range of 100 kilometers and it is used by J-11 and J-16 fighter aircrafts. The second missile that the Chinese Air Force has is the PL-15. PL-15, same missile that has been given to the Pakistanis as well. It has got a range of 250 kilometers and the platforms that use this missile are J-10C and J-20 fighter aircraft. So these two countries, that is Pakistan and China, they have got these missiles which are lesser than the capabilities of Astra Mk2 that Indian Air Force is likely to get shortly.
Astra Mk2's range and indigenous design ensures that India is not outgunned in the air. It levels the playing field against PL-15 equipped fighters and secures India's own technological independence.
This makes Astra Mk2's arrival timely, giving India a homegrown system that can match and potentially outperform the region's most powerful air-to-air weapons. With comparable range and superior electronic resistance, Astra Mk2 places India firmly among the world's top air powers, alongside the United States, France, Russia and China. Astra Mk2 will first be integrated with Sukhoi-30 MKI, followed by the Tejas Mk1A Alpha and later India's future stealth fighter, the AMCA. The induction of these missiles is targeted around 2026, giving the Indian Air Force a fully indigenous beyond the visual range capability across multiple platforms.
The Astra Mk2 isn't just about matching enemy missiles, it's about surpassing them. With over 200 kilometers of reach, dual pulse propulsion and indigenous seeker, it ensures India can control the fight long before the enemy has come closer. In the silent chessboard of skies, the player who sees first, strike first, wins. And Astra ensures India does both. In modern air warfare, range is dominance and refueling is freedom. After years of searching for right partner, Indian Air Force is likely to award an international firm to transform its mid-air refueling fleet. A likely new deal could be worth around rupees 8,000 crore. This will add 6 multi-mission tanker transport aircraft to the Indian Air Force.
In air power, distance defines dominance. India's fighter jets from the Sukhoi-30 MKI to the Rafale can now fly farther, strike deeper and stay airborne longer. The Indian Air Force has cleared a path for a likely deal with an international firm to supply 6 new aerial refueling aircrafts, a long-awaited replacement for the aging IL-78 fleet. If the deal goes through, these aircraft will be converted from used Boeing 767s, thus transforming passenger planes into multi-mission workhorses. Capable of refueling fighters, transporting troops, and even carrying out surveillance missions.
For nearly 15 years, the Indian Air Force has sought to modernize its tanker fleet. Maintenance challenges, spare part shortages from Russia, and the ongoing Ukraine conflict. Indian Air Force urgently requires these mid-air refuelers.
The selected foreign firm will partner with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, ensuring that up to 30% of this deal will come under Make in India. The collaboration opens doors for future co-developments from firefighting variants to humanitarian missions, showcasing how military technology can also serve civilian goals.
But beyond economics and partnership lies the real story. What the aerial refueling truly means for air combat.
Every mid-air refueler is a force multiplier. With this deal, India's tanker fleet will double from 6 to 12, dramatically enhancing its ability to project power across the subcontinent and beyond. It allows the Indian Air Force fighters to patrol longer, strike deeper, right from the edges of the Indian Ocean to the regions beyond Himalayas, and that too without forward bases or refueling stops. In contested airspace, that endurance can decide the outcome of a conflict before the first missile is even fired.
For the Indian Air Force, it's not just about adding aircraft, it's about adding options. And in modern warfare, options define advantage.
The analysts are of the opinion that this MMTT deal aligns perfectly with India's modernization blueprint. It complements temporary leases like the KC-135 tankers from the United States, ensures independence from Russian supply chains, and strengthens India's readiness for sustained air operations. More than a contract, this partnership would represent a strategic evolution, where capability meets collaboration and technology fuels trust.
For the Indian Air Force, these 6 aircraft aren't just refueling platforms, they are lifelines of endurance, reach and resilience, ensuring that India's wings never run dry. In the modern battlefield, close quarter combat defines survival. And for the Indian Army, a new chapter in small arms modernization has just begun. The Indian Army is set to induct a new family of indigenously developed 5.5645 mm close quarter battle carbine, designed by the DRDO and produced through public-private partnership, marking the end of decades of dependence on outdated submachine guns.
For years, Indian soldiers relied on the 9x19 mm Sterling submachine gun, a relic of a bygone era. It never met the demands of urban warfare or counter-insurgency operations. Now that gap has been decisively closed with an Indian-designed and Indian-built solution. Developed by the DRDO's Armament Research and Development Establishment, ARD Pune, the new 5.56 into 45 mm caliber is a Make in India milestone, built under a joint effort by Bharat Forge's Kalyani Strategic Systems and PLR Systems, a collaboration between Adani Defence and Israeli's IWI. It's compact, lightweight and modular. It features Picatinny rails for optics, retractable stock and compatibility with NATO and INSA's ammunition, bridging global standards with Indian needs.
With over 4 lakh new carbines on the way, the Indian Army's infantry units are stepping into a new era, one defined by speed, precision and indigenous firepower from street battles to high-altitude patrols. These weapons give Indian soldiers a decisive edge, made in India and built for India's battles. India's armed forces are flexing integrated muscle on 2 fronts. On the western frontier, exercise Trishul, a major tri-services drill led by the Indian Navy, it is underway to test full spectrum of joint operations. At the same time, high in the eastern Himalayas, the 3 services are staging exercise Poorvi Prachand Prahar in Mk1A to sharpen mountain warfare and multi-domain synergy. We bring you both the stories, what's being tested, why it matters, and the message India is sending.
Named Trishul, this tri-service exercise is a large-scale rehearsal of integrated operations across land, sea and air, from desert flats to coastal marshes. The Navy is leading with sizable participation from the Army and the Air Force to practice deep strikes, logistic innovations and electromagnetic operations. Planners are emphasizing multi-domain action, precision long-range strikes, counter-drone layers, spectrum dominance and survival logistics under contested conditions, a rehearsal for high-intensity contingencies.
Trishul isn't just drills, it's validation of joint command and the ability to synchronize sea-based firepower with land maneuver and air interdiction.
At Mk1A, Arunachal Pradesh, Poorvi Prachand Prahar is a tri-service demonstration of mountain warfare, rapid mobilization and networked operations under harsh, high-altitude conditions. It brings together special forces, aviation assets, unmanned platforms and precision weapons to test real-time sharing of battlefield intelligence. The emphasis is to operate seamlessly across land, air and maritime domains, even in oxygen-thin terrain, validating integrated command and control logistics at altitude and sustainment for prolonged operations. Analysts say exercise like this sharpen readiness along the line of actual control.
Mountain operations demand perfect sync between sensors, aerial lift and ground maneuver. Exercise in Mk1A makes the troops practice and under stress conditions testing the man-machine limits in high altitude.
Why 2 simultaneous tri-service exercises? Because modern warfare is multi-front and multi-domain. Practicing coordinated responses across deserts, sea and mountain tests doctrine, logistics and command architecture and sends a clear deterrent message to the adversaries. The quick takeaways: scale and scope. Trishul is a large Western theatre tri-service drill focusing on deep strike and EM operations. Poorvi Prachand Prahar horns joint warfighting in Eastern Highlands. Multi-domain focus. Both exercises lay stress on drones, EW network, C2 and special operations, reflecting the future battlefield. Message: operational readiness and deterrence. India demonstrates the ability to fight and sustain joint operations across its strategic depth.
Two theatres, one objective, a seamless integrated fighting force ready for challenges of tomorrow. Exercise Trishul and Poorvi Prachand Prahar are not just drills, they are rehearsal for multi-domain war fighting and a statement of India's operational maturity. From the deserts to the Himalayas, India is practicing to meet any contingency. Why are future threats unpredictable? When the Chief of Indian Army, General Upendra Dwivedi, says the future threats are unpredictable, it is not just a statement. It's a stark warning, a reminder that tomorrow's war will not resemble yesterday's battles. From the mountains of Ladakh to cyber front lines, the Indian Army today faces an enemy that may not wear a uniform, may not even be a human. Think drones, deep fakes and digital deceptions. So what is the shift in India's military thinking? General Dwivedi's message from his hometown of Rewa is both humble and historic. It signals a shift from reacting to threats to anticipating them. The battlefield of future will demand not just bravery but brains, data warriors, drone operators, AI-driven decision systems, all working in fusion with boots on the ground. Now you may ask that in this changed paradigm, what will be the new front line? The unpredictability he talks about is already here. Hybrid warfare, proxy militias, weaponized information, and these are going to be the new front lines. So how will the Indian Army tackle this new challenge along the modern front lines? There was a confidence that was seen in the Army Chief's tone. That confidence was that Indian Army is adapting, evolving and preparing to fight the war of tomorrow today. In the end, the message is clear. Technology may change the face of war, but at the heart of it, it is the Indian soldier that remains its strongest weapon. In other words, in an unpredictable world, India's army is preparing not for war it expects, but for one it cannot see yet. And that's my take. That's all for this week on Defense Dynamics. Do share your thoughts on social media with #DD with Danveer. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.